Burkina Faso's 35-year-old president, Ibrahim Traoré, is challenging a long-standing belief held by many African leaders that wealth and luxury are essential for earning respect, both from citizens and the international community. It's still rare to see an African head of state choosing to live simply, especially while their nation struggles economically. Many of them own luxury cars, live in extravagant homes, wear expensive custom suits, and travel in private jets, often appearing disconnected from the reality of their citizens' daily lives. In sharp contrast to this image, Ibrahim Traoré has chosen a different path. Rather than focus on personal comfort or wealth, he has prioritized the needs of his people. This commitment is reflected in his decision to reduce his own salary and live modestly. His lifestyle and approach often draw comparisons to Thomas Sankara, not just for his values but also for his public image. Like Sankara, Traoré avoids high-end cars and designer clothing, instead opting for a modest vehicle and military attire. This was clearly evident during the Russia-Africa summit, where Traoré stood out among African leaders by wearing combat gear, including a red beret and tactical gloves, rather than a tailored suit. Traoré's choice to reject the presidential salary and instead keep his military pay as a captain highlights his dedication to public service over personal gain. It's one of many reasons why he is being viewed as a symbol of hope and integrity in Burkina Faso. These aspects and more will be explored in today's video. So stay tuned as we take a closer look at how this young leader is reshaping his country's future. Before we continue, please consider liking and subscribing to our channel to support our work. Ibrahim Traoré made history in September 2022 by becoming the world's youngest head of state. He came to power after leading a group of junior military officers in a coup that ousted Lieutenant Colonel Paul-Henri Damiba, who himself had taken office earlier the same year through a military takeover. In a televised address on October 1st, Traoré justified their action by stating that Damiba had failed to effectively address the ongoing security crisis. Though he was 7 years younger and ranked lower than Damiba, Traoré successfully led the change in leadership. At the time, he held the rank of Captain, significant detail considering Burkina Faso follows the French military ranking system, where captain is below commandant, lieutenant colonel, and colonel. While his rise may have appeared sudden to some, those within the military saw it as the result of steady progression. His military career gained momentum in 2014 when he was deployed to Mali as part of the UN peacekeeping mission. MINUSMA, his time in Mali earned him a strong reputation. Fellow soldiers have noted his courage, especially during a complex militant attack in northern Timbuktu, where he demonstrated leadership and resilience at just 26 years old. Between 2019 and 2022, Traoré played a crucial role in counterinsurgency operations within Burkina Faso, which led to his promotion to captain in 2020, after leading the transition of power in 2022. Traoré, then 34, acknowledged public concerns about his young age. Addressing government officials in October, he stated that he was aware of the age gap between himself and others in leadership, and explained that the events which unfolded were not a matter of ambition, but necessity. Traoré remained relatively low profile internationally until July 2023, when he attended the Russia-Africa summit in St. Petersburg, joining 16 other African leaders at the invitation of President Vladimir Putin. As mentioned earlier, while most of his counterparts wore formal suits, Traoré stood out once again by appearing in military gear, complete with a red beret and tactical gloves. Though his attire drew attention, it was his speech that made a stronger impact. In his remarks, Traoré criticized African leaders who fail to meet the needs of their people, while aligning themselves with external influences that have historically undermined the continent. He pointed out that such behavior plays into stereotypes used by former colonial powers, framing African leadership as ineffective and disconnected from human rights values. He emphasized the importance of resisting foreign manipulation, stating that African leaders must stop acting like puppets and start prioritizing sovereignty and the well-being of their people. He also criticized the tendency among some leaders to depend on foreign aid without pursuing meaningful reform, highlighting the need for Africa to assert its independence and dignity. Traoré's message was clear: leadership must be based on service, not submission. Though still young, Ibrahim Traoré is already changing the narrative of leadership in Africa. His decisions, whether about salary, lifestyle, or foreign relations, are shaping a new model of governance focused on humility, sovereignty, and genuine public service. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below, and if you found this video insightful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more content like this. President Vladimir Putin's announcement on July 27th, in which he pledged to send free grain to Africa, received a direct response. Ibrahim Traoré acknowledged the gesture with appreciation, but also used the moment to deliver a pointed message to African leaders. He stressed the importance of moving towards self-sufficiency in food production and supply, encouraging leaders to draw lessons from nations that have already succeeded in this area. Traoré emphasized that by the next forum, African heads of state should come prepared, having taken meaningful steps toward ensuring their country's food security. His remarks echoed sentiments once voiced by the respected Thomas Sankara in the early 1980s, who, like Traoré, came to lead Burkina Faso through a military coup. Setting aside his background for now, let's turn to Traoré's current achievements. It's clear that he is steadily gaining significant trust and support both within Burkina Faso and across Africa. In contrast to many of his contemporaries, just days ago, widespread demonstrations were held in support of extending Traoré's transitional leadership, originally set to end in July. This momentum led to the adoption of a revised national charter that now allows Burkina Faso's military leadership to remain in power for up to 5 more years. The charter was approved following national discussions held on Saturday, May 25th, in the capital city of Ouagadougou. These talks included representatives from civil society, the military, and transitional lawmakers, though political parties played only a limited role in the proceedings. Despite the new charter, not all citizens were reassured. While the country's leaders deliberated inside the conference hall, a group of young people gathered outside, passionately urging that Captain Traoré continue leading Burkina Faso for the next decade. This strong public display of support highlights the deep divides and complex feelings among the population about the nation's future direction. Captain Ibrahim Traoré is widely noted for his practical, results-focused political approach. One major economic issue he addressed was the lack of a national gold refinery. Despite Burkina Faso's position as a significant global gold producer, previously, miners were forced to export unrefined or to Europe. In response, Traoré initiated the construction of a domestic refinery on effort expected to generate jobs and strengthen the national economy. As transitional president, Traoré has rolled out a series of impactful economic reforms. These include major tax cuts and efforts to improve access to capital for young entrepreneurs through partnerships with the private sector. One standout initiative is his introduction of popular shareholding. It's a model designed to privatize state-owned enterprises and allow citizens to invest directly in national development. This approach led to the sale of 20% of the state-owned telecommunications company to the public, successfully raising $60 million for vital infrastructure projects. Traoré has also demonstrated fiscal restraint by cutting the salaries of all ministers and government officials by 20%. Notably, he has refused a presidential salary, choosing instead to keep his income aligned with that of a military captain. This decision is viewed by many as a sign of his commitment to public service. He surprised journalists when he affirmed his support for the people's right to protest if the protests were directed at his own administration. He described himself as a public servant, emphasizing that he and his colleagues have been entrusted with protecting the country's future. This stance stands in contrast to many African leaders who view themselves as rulers and treat citizens as subordinates. Currently, Captain Ibrahim Traoré serves as the president of Burkina Faso, taking on major responsibilities at a critical time for the country. Despite his leadership position, he has maintained a low profile in terms of his personal life. There is no widely known or confirmed information about his family or romantic relationships. This level of privacy has allowed him to remain focused on national priorities and leadership duties. As Burkina Faso moves through this transitional period, Captain Traoré's primary focus appears to be on guiding the nation towards stability, development, and long-term security. As of now, details regarding his personal net worth remain undisclosed. Given his transitional role, any financial matters concerning him are not available in the public domain.